favorite ones. I have a friend of mine who works at Delta Airlines. In fact, I got a tour of Tech Ops, which is basically all their hangars. So I got to go see all the engines torn apart. I got to go see planes torn apart. I got to go see planes disassembled. It was really neat. And I asked him about the Northwest Airlines Delta merger. Two big airlines merged together. And he said, what we wanted to do is we wanted to take Northwest process and Delta culture. Delta had a strong culture. This is what we were trying to do, and he believed that they mostly succeeded. Culture has to support this stuff. I got a friend of mine, his name's Jim Newkirk. He's a VP of engineering at a company called Tier 3 Networks. And really, really brilliant guy in terms of development. Right? Great coder, great leader. He doesn't hire for technical skills, he'll hire for culture and team. So if people fit, he knows the culture he wants, that's what he hires for, because he knows if he can do that, he can have a strong, small engineering group versus a large, dysfunctional engineering group. So culture is critical, and then having something to blame. Now, this is a fun one, because how many of you ever have said, the reason I screwed up X is because of Y? Where X could be, thank you, where X could be, you know, the reason I'm late for dinner, honey, is because I decided to stay at the bar and have 6 beers with my friends. Okay? Okay? It's not my fault. I couldn't drive. Having something to blame is sitting there and saying, oh, I tried this Agile stuff and it didn't work. What is that a lack of? What's missing? Principles and values, not having a core foundation, which again leads back to training stuff, leads back to the culture. Having something to blame is easy. All right. Let's talk about another fun one. I like this one. I hear this one all the time. Anybody hear this one? Our company is special. There is no other company like us in the world. Who's in that situation today? So, what do you guys do?
Digital agency.
Digital, yeah, you're right. There is no other digital agency in the world. So you build like stuff, websites, and interactive marketing, and yeah, I mean, anybody else do that? Oh, so you guys all work at the same company. Okay, right, but yeah, we're special, and our customers are special too. That's the great part, right? We have special customers. We have to do it a certain way, right? Agile sounds great, but we're different. I have a feeling if we went and had a DNA sample, we would all be a pretty darn close match. I have that feeling. Which means that, are we really special? I mean, our mom has always told us so, right? I'm special. My wife tells me that all the time. God, you were special. And I said, just what are you saying? See, guys know, right? Your wives, you tell them? Yeah, you get that, oh, you're so special. What that means is, you're such a dumbass. Yes. Yes, I am, right? Our company culture is unique. There is no other company like us in the world. Our culture is special. Our culture is different. I don't know about you. I've traveled around a little bit. I have seen cultures that are exactly the same. There's one large software company in my hometown. There's actually several. One very large software company in my hometown. There's another one that was started by said large software company that then split off into its own independent organization. Oddly enough, even though one has a ticker symbol and the other has a ticker symbol up on the NASDAQ, the culture is pretty darn close to exactly the same. Why? Because it was seeded from, as another buddy of mine, Scott Edgemore says, the mothership. Never leave the mothership. So Scott, if you watch this. So, yeah, I don't know about that. And then my favorite one, only we can do what we do. You ever heard that? Only we can do this. Nobody else can do it. Who is in that boat? So anybody can do what you do? This is great. So I got one of my customers is in, I don't know, Western Europe, let's say. and they're a semiconductor company. They build chips that go inside of passports. Anybody have an e-passport with a chip in there? Okay, so they make about 80% of those, so they probably made it. They said to me, yeah, we're special. Nobody else does this. Really? So you have no competitors? Oh, we have lots of competitors. I'm confused. Help me understand. Oh, well, we do it a certain way and they do it different. Got it. So you're special, of course. At which point, that led me to ask them another question, where I said, so why do you want to do this Agile stuff? Well, we need to. Well, are you sure? Well, I don't know, because it's really good for them, but it's not good for us. You've heard this one. Agile's good for other people, but we're special. It's good for, like, if you're going to build a website. Anybody build? Who else builds websites? Anybody? A couple people? Yeah, so I don't. I have, but I don't. So I wouldn't know if Agile was good for it. I do large back-end infrastructure projects. I know Agile's good for that. So like commercial banking applications, fantastic. Healthcare, excellent. People tell me websites, so be it. Point is that we're all going to experience this, and we're all going to come up with these excuses that we have to deal with. Now, again, software is software. Who's good at C#? Raise your hand if you can write C# code. And good. And those of you that answered, any Java, JavaScript, any? There you go. Learning a skill is easy. So if you're transitioning from one language to another, you're going to have an easier time than you are transitioning from culture to culture to culture. Culture takes years. Competencies take years. I was definitely scared of public speaking when I was in college. I would stand up and I would tremble, visibly. One of the things I said to myself that I wanted to learn by the time I was 30 was how to speak. One of the things that I did is I made the investment in learning. But again, this comes back to those foundational items. Everybody has to have that same mindset to drive forward. And it's this last one. It's how we think that's different. The code that we write is one thing. How we communicate, how we think, how we interact. This is what we need to do to overcome this. Are we special? Sure. How do we manage? How do we each manage our little specialties? All right. This is another good one. Who's heard this? Raise your hand. My Agile is not your Agile. What do I mean by this? What do I mean? My process is different from your process. Good. Okay. I can't. I wasn't going to walk over there, but I can't because camera will get mad at me. My process is different than your process. I read this book, and it told me that a retrospective should only be an hour, and you're telling me it should be an hour and a half. Well, that's clearly wrong, and we need to spend 8 hours arguing about it. Let's not just do the retrospective and kind of figure it out. Who gives a crap if it's an hour or an hour and a half? Let's argue first. My daily stand-up. How many of you do a daily stand-up or a daily scrum meeting? Okay? Now, hold on. Hands back up, please. Those of you that do it. Now, if you stand up while you do your daily stand-up, keep your hand up. If you do not stand up, put your hand down. Okay, so we lost about a third. Why do you stand up? Keep it short. Keep the meeting short? What does standing have to do with keeping a short meeting? Your legs get tired. Oh man. Oh yeah. If I could kick back and just put my feet up, this would be like an 8-hour keynote. It'd be awesome. We all have to be here. Just sort of hang out. Right? A little video recorder would run out of drive space. Fantastic. Yeah, we spend more time arguing about what I believe, what I believe to be true and what you believe to be true. And this is basically, now this is a metaphor you might not fully understand, who can pee farther in the snow? Okay? My family's all Canadian. I'm American. I would always go to Canada. And in Canada, there's always snow. There's igloos too. But I would go, and as kids, we would play. I could be farther in the snow than you. And if you lost and you had to, I don't know, do something stupid, that's all this is. It's like, look, I won. Excellent. Do you feel good about yourself? Yes. Cool. Can we get on with being humans and adults now? And this is an adult trait, right? Why can't you just see it my way? You know I'm right. How many of you have heard that at work recently? Look at how many people raise their hand. You're not doing it high, but at least you're doing it. Again, encouraging. Thank you. Agile principles and values, right? Yeah. This is this quest to be right. One of the things that will be easy for you when you try to adopt this stuff is if you forego this desire, this urge, this quest to be right all the time. The more you try to be right, the less you learn. When you're transitioning and doing something new and different, you have to be in a mindset to learn. So if you piss and moan and complain about, oh, I'm right and you're wrong, who's learning? Nobody, right? But if you're sitting there, instead of pissing and moaning, you're going, oh, hey, that's really cool. I never thought about it like that. Help me understand. Tell me why you guys do your daily stand-up, standing up, because we do it sitting down, and the meeting seems to take forever. I'd love to learn something new. Can I come watch your meeting? Can you maybe coach our team and help us out a little bit with what you've learned? You don't have to be an expert in this stuff to fix some of these low-hanging fruit issues. Right? And this feeds right back into the whole "you're special" thing. People can't focus when we're arguing about who is right. Think about this even at home. You get in an argument with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your kids. I don't know about you, my kids love to be right. Your kids love to be right? Yeah, so kids are the same, right? Okay, so kids aren't special. Good, I'm glad we got that. Kids aren't special, and they should not get participation trophies. Although if you move to the United States, I guarantee you, you will get a participation trophy. In fact, if you're under 10, you might even get an entrance. Welcome to the country, here's your free trophy. Careful of that. Kids have to be right, and whenever I think about my children, and we have these arguments, we have these discussions, and they have to be right, I just step back and I go, you're right. I'm wrong. See, I told you, Dad. Excellent. Now, solve the problem for me. Well, I don't know how to solve it. I just know that I'm right. And the context, the entire context gets lost because the focus is so focused on being right. Which leads me to this other little pattern that I notice with people. And this is something that I fall victim to and something you fall victim to. Sometimes I act like a toddler. Sometimes I act like I'm 2 years old. I pound my fists, I bang my feet, I kick and I scream and I yell and I go, I'm not getting my way. Anybody done that recently? Okay, thank you. Yeah. I've also acted like a teenager. Most notably, yesterday. As a teenager, I am always right. And whatever you say is always wrong. For example, you could say to me that the chairs are red, and I would go, nah, it's not really red, it's more rosé. Which point you're going to go, rosé, red, who cares? It's a shade of red. Yeah, but it's not red. Right? If I was to pull up the Pantone color palette and show you red, well, you'd be wrong. And I'd be right, and I feel good, okay? Teenager, and then adult. As an adult, we have to be able to accept that we're not special, that we don't know everything, and understand these principles and values that we want to be able to learn. Tell me more, give me more advice, and that helps prevent all these things from happening. Now, let's take a look at a topic that I enjoy, working remotely. How many of you work remote? How many of you work from home? Anybody work from home? Okay. Anybody work for a company that has foreign offices and your manager reports, your manager is in a foreign office? Okay. Anybody have to get up at midnight for meetings? Or I guess it's not really midnight, it's midnight for me. It would be 9 p.m. for you. Got a lot of those new meetings.